So this is a presentation about the Art and Design GCSE. My name is Mrs Wilson, I'm Head of Creative Arts, and I'm just going to try and talk you through it. So for the GCSE, we don't actually start the coursework for it until Year 10. So in Year 9, all of the work will be foundation based and it's really skill building, so that by the time we get to Year 10 and start on the actual coursework, everybody's good to go. So there are basically 2 units of work. We generally do one topic in Year 10 and one in Year 11, and then there is an externally set exam, but that is practical, and I'll talk more about that shortly. The way the exam is assessed is all of the coursework counts for 60% of the work. So that's all of the work that you will be doing in Year 10 and Year 11. And then we will have an exam paper in Year 11 in the January of that term. You have a preparation period where you will be doing work in your books, which counts towards the exam mark, and you prepare an idea that you then have 10 hours to do. For the personal portfolio, you will develop a range of skills. Because it's general art and design, there has to be different types of art in there. So you'll do drawing and painting, and printmaking, and some clay work or 3D work. We try to encourage you to use lots of different media and to broaden your understanding of a wider range of art and artists. You'll learn to develop and plan for a longer final piece, very similar to how you will do in the exam. The portfolio makes up 60% of the overall mark. It's thematic, which means we might have a theme. For example, the students are working on a theme of contrast at the moment, and we encourage students to develop their own individual styles and interests. It's a broad base of study, as I've just said, so you may be looking at a variety of different ways of working. There is a written requirement, and that takes the form of research, responding to different artists and evaluating your own work and processes. We try to do 2 gallery visits, one in Year 10 where we usually go to Tate Britain, and to the Saatchi Gallery in Year 11 as part of the exam work. The externally set exam, you will have a paper and it has a theme on it, and then it gives you lots of different ideas about what that theme might be. So what you then have a period of time where you're developing ideas in your sketchbook. Now all of that development goes towards the exam mark. So in theory, by the time you actually get to the exam, all of that work is preparing you for it, and you know exactly what you're going to do by the time you get in there, and obviously you're allowed to take that work into the exam, so actually it should be fairly stress-free. As long as you're organised, it should be fairly stress-free. Attributes that are going to help you in this subject: having an interest in art and different artists. You need to be confident at drawing and experimenting with new ways of working. Doesn't mean that you have to be the top of the class, okay? You just need to be confident at doing it and happy to give things a go. You need to think independently about themes and ideas, and be confident in expressing your own opinions, and you'll get better at that as you do it anyway. You need to be prepared to spend a bit of personal time after school, because obviously sometimes bits of artwork are going to take a little bit of time to do. All right, so it's quite handy if you've got used to working at home, because you'll need to do that a little bit for this course. You need to be happy working hard, because there is quite a lot to do, but hopefully you will enjoy and get some pleasure out of the results. Lessons are usually quite fun, but we do expect you to work hard. You'll find that the range of tasks isn't dissimilar to what you might do in Year 7 and 8. Obviously though, as you go higher up the school, the level with which you're doing it is going to get more complex. You can expect to work through a variety of different ideas and develop new techniques at quite a pace. Okay, so particularly in Year 9, you'll find that you're building skills really quickly, where you're having more lessons. You will have lessons where you're really challenged to work in new ways, which can sometimes feel a little bit uncomfortable, but we will be very encouraging and supportive of you at whatever level you're at. And remember, as long as you are making progress, that is all that counts. Okay. You're going to be introduced to new artists that will inspire you and broaden your understanding of art, and hopefully you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of finding out about some of those. You need to be a little bit analytical about your own work and that of others, so you need to be a little bit open to constructive criticism, and being able to do that yourself, because the better you get doing that yourself, the quicker you will improve. And you need to be self-motivated, well organised, and be able to manage your projects with growing independence. Okay. Here are some examples of some of the work that's being done by Year 10 and 11 students. You'll see there's quite a broad range of things that they're looking at there. And as we say, we try to encourage you to follow your own interests, which is what these students have done. Little slide of one of our trips. So often when we go to the galleries, they have gallery educators who will talk you through some of the pieces of artwork, which really helps your understanding and helps you to appreciate them on a slightly different level. Questions that I will often be asked by parents and students. This question, is it too much work? Because I think quite often you'll see some of the students with their big folders of work and think that's a lot of work. Well, it is, but remember it's done over a long period of time. So remember that collection of work is done over a long period of time, and in Year 10 and 11 you are getting many more lessons. So that's hopefully answers that question. It shouldn't be too much for you. If you're used to getting your classwork done and homework on time, then you will obviously be able to do it. If you find that it's a bit of a struggle, then you need to talk to the teacher. Okay, there is always a way that we can help you. Okay, so you just have to be able to say. Is there a written exam? No, the written content comes completely through the artist research work and evaluations that we do during the projects. Okay, the exam itself is practical. Am I good enough to do this subject? I think sometimes people worry that they need to be the best artist to do this subject. That isn't the case. I think if you enjoy the subject and you're hardworking and keen to learn, you are going to make progress anyway. Okay, your skills are going to develop, and actually that's what matters. Okay, so don't let lack of confidence get in the way. You're good enough to do it if you really want to do it. All right, that's good enough. How will art help me longer term? We quite often get asked this question. But some of the characteristics that art students learn are to be really well organised, able to develop ideas independently, good at time managing, good at making decisions, able to adapt, willing to try new things, good communicators and self-motivated and hard-working, all of which are very desirable attributes for any further educational careers. The other thing is that if you did want to take a photography course or an art course when you go to sixth form or college, obviously there would be an expectation that you do have an art GCSE. Many different careers that you could go into that use art and design, and I think sometimes we forget that there are so many. I'm not going to read the whole list of them here, but just some examples of things that people can go on to do, and in fact we have had students that have gone on to do some of these. And that's the last slide. Obviously, if you have any questions, do feel free to come and speak to any of the art teachers.